So this is a craft foam biscuit. Rather than using the foam, the really buoyant stuff, this is closed cell stuff, so it sinks a little bit slower. I've got a whole load here that I've tied. So first thing we'll do is we'll put a hooking device. If you're fishing in competitions, short shank special takes some beating. Or the original B160, which is the Camazon. So full mill, short shank special, or Camazon 160. And I'm running on some 8/0 tying thread, and I'm coming right down just as it starts to turn, in line with the bar with the hook there. Snip that off. And now for the foam. This is closed cell craft foam, white. With light flies I tend to use white. And all I'm going to do is take 5mm and cut it in a strip. And I fold it over, so I've created a loop there. And I'm just going to secure that in. Locking it in place with really tight thread wraps. You can see that she's sitting flush with the bend of the hook shank there. Oh, I wanted to snip my thread. Let me tie that up. Just really tight wraps. Trim your stray bit of thread. So come in and embed that craft foam down nice and tight. Another thing with closed cell foam is it's got a tendency not to slip. It sort of adheres to the hook shank a little bit better. So this is original biscuits. This is original sunburst. And all I'm doing is taking some fibres away from the core and catching that in. And I'll do more turns of the sunburst as I will the original biscuit colour, which is like a washed out coral. It was obviously a mistake somewhere along the line, but people used it. It worked really well. That's 3 wraps, 4, 5. I'm stroking the fibres back as I go, wetting my fingers. 6. And then at an angle here, I'm just going to look off with the tying thread. Just look it off. So the original biscuit, done them in teeth, and the reason it's got its name, well, it's just a washed out fly actually. I always cut this with a craft knife, better than your scissors. And it got its name because the fish could be eaten, just like us. They can eat anything. They could be absolutely full. However, if you gave them a biscuit, in other words, something a little bit different, they just couldn't resist, they would take it. And that's how this name came about. A secret for long enough. You can see I've just tidied up the fritz there, and the fritz is covering the foam. The fibres cover the foam. Tucked away and hidden. This is one of the keys with this thing. So this is original biscuit. It's nearly white. So this is the key with this thing. When it first came out, so that's a copy. That's Cobb Candy Biscuit, and that's original Sunburst. A lot of guys, if they're in a boat with somebody and the guy's beating them, a lot of guys are just like, it's a blob. So they put a blob on, and they couldn't figure out how their boat partner was catching a lot more. That's because it was a foam arse blob. You couldn't see that foam holding the rest of the cast up. So people putting just normal blobs on, they're fishing below the fish. So the key with this was the foam at the rear, and nobody could figure out what was going on. Your boat partner, it was a real secret for long enough. But like everything in fly fishing, it soon came out, and everybody got to know it. And now these things are pretty much a go-to for the washing line and the point fly position for lines fishing higher up in the water. So this stuff, again, just winding up. I'll probably go 1 or 2 turns less than the yellow, because you want more yellow than you do want the original biscuit colour. Just bedding everything in there, make sure it's locked in place. Pull some of the fibres away, and it'll expose the core, and it just makes for a neater head. It's a little bit more tidy. Take that off at 90 degrees to the hook shank, and lock off a couple of thread wraps. And again, in with the blade. Blade's far better than your scissors. Like I say, this is a washing line fly. However, I've had really good success on Rutland, fishing 2 of these on a slow sink line, 12 feet apart, basically just casting out and doing nothing. I did it at Beale as well. We were fishing a 2D eliminator, and on day 1 I was like miles ahead of everybody, and I was catching resident fish. I was basically casting out and doing nothing. Sadly for me, day 2 there isn't fishing, never played ball. I only had a couple of stockies, 3 I think. Not good enough. But yeah, if it was a one dayer, this fly, I'd have been lucky enough to win it again. But there you go. Fishing's all about could have, would have, should have. So just tie it off there. Again in with your blade, stroke the fibres back. Make sure the fly's nice, neat and tidy. And then just a little drop of varnish for additional security. But you can see with this fly, unlike a lot of blobs, it's not as in your face as some. And it seems even more toned down when it's in the water, but it's a really good fly. And if it doesn't catch, it'll certainly bring fish into your droppers, your nymphs further up in the cast. That foam, it'll just drop through the water a little bit quicker, not as buoyant. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Take care.